Go right ahead. Yeah, we'll start with some opening comments from Coach Franklin.
So first of all, like always, I want to thank especially the Penn State media that come out and follow us all the time and cover Penn State football. We appreciate you. I want to thank the fans. It's a long season, and our fans, the support that we get and how they travel is phenomenal. So obviously also good being on the West Coast and maybe some of our fans that don't normally get a chance to see us live, so that's special. I want to give Boise a ton of credit. I think that's a really, really good football team. They've been winning there for a long time. Coach Danielson's done a phenomenal job. And obviously, you know, could go on and on about their players. We talked a lot. These guys were sick of me talking about their running back, Ashton Jeanty. A ton of respect for him, and what he's done in his entire career is special. But at the end of the day, we played a complete game. Offense, defense, and special teams, complementary football, did some special things tonight. So I'm just proud of our guys. We talked in the beginning of the season about our guys having these type of moments and these type of experiences and these type of opportunities. So love the fact that these guys were able to, you know, find a win against a really good opponent here, and these two guys obviously leading the way. Just a couple things I'll say, and then I'll open up the questions. But 13 wins, first time in program history. Katron Allen and Nick Singleton both surpassing 1,000 yards in the same season. First time we've ever had 2,000-yard rushers in the same season since joining the Big Ten. And then 34 wins over the last 3 years. We're very, very proud of that. Consistency is hard to do. And our guys have done a great job at it. The maturity that they have shown has been impressive. So 8-0 in Fiesta Bowls. Penn State loves the Fiesta Bowl. We'll come every year. So appreciate it, and I'll open up the questions.
We'll start here, front row center.
Thank you.
Coach, you mentioned your running backs. Can you just explain how they were able to do what they did today, and what you think of their overall effort?
Well, a couple things. I mean, right, everybody wants to talk about the running backs, but one of the things we talk about all the time is the game of football starts up front. Always has, always will. I thought our D-line was disruptive today and was a major factor in the game. I thought our O-line was able to control the line of scrimmage, and we talk about O-line, tight ends, obviously the running backs. You know, that's Katron. Katron breaks tackles. He runs people over. He is a physical back. And then Nick, obviously, if you give him a crease, he's got a chance to go 80 at any minute. So they're really good complementary backs. They've been playing together for a long time. And when we're able to get the outside zone going like we were able to do today, kind of opens everything else up and gets people running sideline to sideline, which creates creases. But I'm happy. You know, Nick was trying to, was grinding it out. Wasn't having as much success, then all of a sudden, he was able to break the big one, which was huge. So you love to see that happen. And then, like I said, Katron's just a workhorse. So it starts up front with the O-line. They don't get enough credit, but it's great to see those two backs have success.
Right here on the end, front row.
Hi, James. How would you describe your approach to dealing with their running back, and what do you think you did that worked to sort of corral him? I mean, he got 100 yards, but sort of corral him.
Well, I think we did corral him. Yeah, not sort of. Yeah, I think we did corral him. I mean, they got some yards there at the end, and I think defensively, I think our team was sick of me talking about him. And I think we got the point across about the respect that we have for that young man and the type of running back he is. And even today, I think our defense would say they have a ton of respect for him and how many tackles he was able to break and how strong he is and the contact balance. He's an impressive guy, but we're pretty good on defense. I thought our D-line did a really good job of being disruptive and getting in the backfield. And then I thought we did a really good job gang tackling. There was a few times where we didn't wrap like we should have, but for the most part, our defense played lights out. And it was numbers in the box. Obviously, being able to play man coverage also helps with that because you're able to drop a safety down there and get an extra man to add numbers. But really good back. We made him earn it today. And I think the other thing that our guys had heard about is, the records that he had a chance of breaking today too. So, it was a highly motivated group.
Stay here in the front row.
James is the key. Tyler, congratulations on getting to the semifinal round.
Thank you.
James, I know I'm gonna ask you this question. I know how you might answer it, but I also have a question for all you guys. James, is there anything you can shed any light on regarding Abdul Carter? I know he couldn't finish the game. He looked like he was favoring his left arm or his left shoulder. Can you tell us anything about that? And for the players and you, James, you guys have been tested away from Beaver Stadium a lot of times in the regular season, on the road, winning tough games. And when this game got chaotic, how much did those experiences maybe help you kind of not get rattled because you've been in a lot of these situations throughout the year?
Yeah, with Abdul, I don't know a whole lot. We'll get that checked out and see. And obviously, number one, the safe and health and welfare of our guys is priority number one. But then, I know Abdul will want to play next week, and he'll do everything in his power to play next week if he's able to. And we'll find out more. I don't have a whole lot more information than that. And then in terms of being tested, yeah, I think the Big Ten, I think you guys have heard me say this a lot. I've been a head coach in the SEC. I've been a head coach in the Big Ten, and I got tremendous respect for both conferences. And I think I have a perspective that most people don't have, right? But I think the Big Ten has prepared our guys. We opened a season at West Virginia, had a tough Big Ten season, had to overcome adversity and challenges from the top to the bottom of the conference. And I think those things are valuable. I think, when you're playing in arguably the two best conferences in all of college football, it prepares you for games like this. I think Boise is a really good football team. I got a ton of respect for them and how they go about their business. And it's been that way for a long time. So I think these guys will tell you we were not taking them lightly. I know they got off the plane with those shirts, count us out. We were not counting those guys out. They had our attention, and I think that showed up today. But I think we talk about the maturity of our football team, and I think that shows up. When things don't go well, our guys, they don't panic. The coaches don't panic. We learn from it, and then we get on to the next play. And when you're playing really good teams at this point in the season, they're going to make plays. They're going to do some good things, and you just gotta weather the storm and battle back.
Fourth row on the right.
James, following up on what you just said about the Big Ten, don't know if you were watching the Bowls earlier today, but Big Ten had a good day. Now you guys and either Ohio State or Oregon will be in the semis. How important is it for the conference when your teams have postseason success like this in terms of everybody's kind of perception, reputation of the Big Ten?
Yeah, obviously we want to represent the Big Ten, and that's important to us. But ultimately, I'm worried about Penn State. I'm worried about Tyler Warren and Zachy and Penn State and the guys in that locker room. I want them to have an unbelievable college experience, and I want them to go on and have a chance to reach their dreams. That's my focus. I got respect for coaching in the SEC because I've been there. Take a lot of pride in representing the Big Ten. But ultimately, I'm worried about these guys, the guys in that locker room, our fans, the lettermen, Pat Kraft, my boss, Neely Bendapudi, my boss, David Kleppinger, my boss. He's the chair of the board. And then sometimes it feels like, all the media and people on blogs. I feel like I work for them sometimes too. But I don't spend a whole lot of time on that. I'm focused on our guys.
Go to the second to the last row on the left.
Hey, Coach. Congrats on the win, and Happy New Year, by the way. Just wanted to reach out and ask you about some of the throws that Drew Aller made today. I feel like they were NFL throws. Some of these balls were going really high in the air, coming down right into the receiver's breadbasket. Talk about his confidence level playing in games like this, letting it rip. And I feel like I've seen a different kid than we saw in the last couple of years, and it seems like his confidence has really taken a next step.
Yeah, they get better, right? I mean, last year was the first year starting and won a bunch of games and did some really good things. His touchdown to interception ratio is phenomenal. Obviously, when this guy gets turnovers and puts the ball back in the offense's hand, and this guy, more times than not, you can just chuck it up to him and he's going to come down with it. But Drew makes big-time throws. He's a big-bodied kid. He's able to make plays with his feet, which I think has been a huge part of his development and our offense's growth. But Drew's had a phenomenal college career, and I think it's only going to get better. And we're going to need that, But yeah, makes big-time throws. Obviously, we started out the game on fire, and then we made things more difficult than it needed to be with penalties and things like that. There was a ton of penalties in this game, really for both teams. So we made it a little bit harder than it needed to be, but you guys should ask these two guys questions because they're what it's all about.
Second row center.
Tyler and Zaki, next week will be your 16th game of the season. What will go into the recovery process to making sure you guys are both healthy and ready for what's been a really long season for you two?
I'd say obviously we've had processes all through the season, so kind of going off those, but we do have more time, being out of school and not having the extra stuff to worry about. So really it's just taking that extra time and instead of going home and maybe spending 30 more minutes doing something to make your body feel better. But I mean, everybody's at this point and everyone's going to be hurting, so it's not really an excuse or something you can lean on and say it's an issue, so you just got to handle it and make sure it's not an issue in the game.
Pretty much what Tyler said, but I'll just say just using the resources we have in the facility, keep homing on your routine and just stretching and doing what you had to do.
We're going to go to the very back here on the left.
Coach, could you just share your early thoughts about getting to face Georgia or Notre Dame and just what you think about both of those programs?
Yeah, I appreciate the question and I love your accent. But honestly, I want to enjoy this Boise win and this Fiesta Bowl win for a couple hours. Have we decided where we're going tonight for New Year's Eve? Have we decided yet?
We'll talk about it after this.
Okay. But we're gonna enjoy the new year. We're gonna enjoy this win for a couple hours. And then obviously, we'll start to get a little bit of a head start on these teams, but obviously two great programs, won a bunch of games, history, tradition, talent, coaching. At this point of the season, you're going to play really good people, and we're excited about that opportunity. But tonight, we want to enjoy this for a couple hours because there'll be plenty of time and hours to get focused on those next opponents. Yes, sir.
Yep. Zaki, ever since you got to Penn State, you've kind of been viewed as a playmaker, whether it's in practice, you're kind of always around the ball. Showed up again tonight with a couple of turnovers. Could you just talk about maybe how you kind of always, does the ball find you or do you find the ball?
Yes.
Number one.
Yes.
And how did you talk about your turnovers tonight that you were able to create? I know Kobe guy really helped you out, I think, on the fumble. And what did you think was the key for the defense to, you guys made the running back work for his yards. He needed, I think, over 30 carries to get over the 100-yard mark, and he just wasn't really as impactful as he'd been in just about every other game this season.
First, to start off with shouting out Kobe King, who forced the fumble to allow me to get that, and then also Jay Reed on that same play I caught the pick. I think it was like 3rd and 20. He pretty much told me, go to the post, let me take the down tight end, go ahead and roam and do what you do. And that same very play, that happened. So that just shows you how teamwork and trusting each other, how things can play out. And in terms of the record and 130 yards, that was a big motivation. We knew who we was going against today. We knew that we needed all 11 hats to the ball every single play because any play you could break one, and we did that the whole game, and did what we had to do.
The guy's a turnover machine. And when you're able to recruit guys out of high school that come from great high school programs, Kyle Schmidt, who played for me at the University of Maryland, has done a phenomenal job. He's one of the best high school coaches in America at Spalding High School. Zaki played wide receiver as well as defensive back, probably could play wide receiver at Penn State. And when you get guys like that have got so many different skills, speed, range, athleticism, confidence. He started out at corner. I think that helps him. He's very confident in covering people. He's very confident in attacking the ball. He's just a talented guy, and he's gotten significantly better every single year. Every single year. I don't think he's talked about enough on a national scale. This guy, everybody's talking about it, and deservedly so. But we need to get more people talking about this gentleman right here.
You go toward the back on the right.
Hey, James, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you. There are a lot of ways to motivate.
How's mom's relish?
It's good. It's tasty. It's going to confuse a lot of people.
Yeah.
There are a lot of ways to motivate, a lot of ways to message. You have to pick one. And years ago, you picked 1-0. Why is that? And what do you do right to get 13 of those?
Yeah. So, obviously, I wouldn't say it's overly unique, but I'm a big believer in being present. I think, one of the things I just got on the guys in the locker room, a bunch of guys are on their phones, and I get that that's this generation now. Twitter, Instagram, whatever it may be. I get it. But what I do know is PJ Mustafer and Jesse Laquetta and all the guys that were on the sideline kind of supporting our guys. They would die to be back in our locker room. And I just think being present is such an important quality for all of us, right? And kind of that's what 1-0 is all about, right? Whether it's the game, whether it is the exam or the class, and even for myself, like sitting with my wife and kids and my phone's going off, pushing the phone away and being present. Like, I know I got to be better about that. Like, it's just an important trait and quality that I think you have to have, and I think it could be a differentiator in today's society and specifically in college football. The fans all look at our schedule and they want to talk about certain games, and we understand the importance of certain games. I get it, but there's also a big part of consistency in college football. There's teams that get a big win against a certain opponent and then they lose to somebody the next week they shouldn't do. And for the most part, we haven't done that. And I think our guys have embraced it. We have reinforced it over and over and over again. And as you know, I'm a big believer in routine, and I'm a big believer in consistency in message. And I think for a lot of our guys, it's helpful when things are going crazy. They're being pulled in 1,000 different directions, and you can take a deep breath and focus on, whether it's 1-0 or our core values, those types of things I think are important.
We have time for one more question for our players. Go here to the second row in the center.
Who is it? There you go.
Tyler, out of the half, you guys came out a little bit slow, but when Drew threw you that touchdown, how much did that build on your confidence for really the rest of the game?
Yeah, I think part of the problem when we first came out was just the self-inflicting penalties. We had some two big holding calls and two big runs that kind of started us in a bad position. But I think that drive, just getting it going again and then getting 6 points is really important, and not ending in a field goal. But really having the running backs going like that all day was awesome for us as an offense. And I was really happy that we broke off that long one with Nick. I know after kind of grounding and pounding for a little bit, to see that was kind of, just awesome to see. And that was kind of my happiest moment from the game was probably when he broke that off and just looking over at the sideline and seeing everybody celebrating.
Okay, that will conclude the press conference for our players. Do we have any more questions for Coach Franklin? All right, we'll stay here in front row.
Yeah. James, just the running game. You've been able to.
These guys staying, ma'am?
They can leave. They're.
James, just the running game down the stretch. You've been able to lean on it whenever you've needed it, and against some really good teams too. Not, the Oregon game didn't go your way. Against SMU in bad weather, lean on the running game. And Drew did start hot, but then there were some up and down moments there. To be able to rely on that, you talked about the offensive line, the blocking of the tight ends, and the way that Katron especially ran tonight. He ran about as angry as I've ever seen him run. how important is that to the success of this season, but also just moving forward, because you've done it against some good teams?
Yeah, running game and defense travels. That's going to show up throughout a season. That's going to show up in bad weather. That's going to show up when you're trying to run 4-minute. There at the end of the game, there was a lot of time left, and we kind of went 4-minute. We were snapping the ball under 4 seconds. We were trying to take time off the clock. We're trying to keep our defense off the field, trying to keep their running back off the field. So when you're able to run the ball, it is a powerful thing at this point of the season. So we want to be able to rely on that. It also sets you up in your play action passes as well. It makes them more explosive. So being able to run the ball and being able to control the line of scrimmage, whether it's your offensive line or our defensive line, is critical. And it showed up tonight. And to your point, it's really kind of showed up all season.
Great. That will conclude our press conference tonight. Thank you to Penn State. Congratulations as the Verbo Fiesta Bowl CFP quarterfinal champions. Thank you to our media, and Happy New Year, everyone.